Starting and running a business is really hard, and knowing when and how to take profit out of your business is something that most business owners struggle with, including me. So today we're going to learn about a simple system for managing your company finances that's going to make your company more profitable and put more money back in your pocket. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Mastering Real Estate Podcast. This podcast is for real estate investors and professionals looking to take their real estate game to the next level. Each week, I review the industry's leading real estate books and break down the main lessons that you can apply to your life and business. Then, every other week, I review my own personal lessons learned from flipping over 100 houses and being a full-time real estate investor since 2018. Stay tuned each week so that we can all become masters of real estate together. Welcome back to the Mastering Real Estate Podcast. This is episode 15, and today we are reviewing David Richter's Profit First for Real Estate Investing. Starting and running a business is really hard, and figuring out when and how to take profit out of your business is something that most business owners struggle with, including me. So today we will learn about a simple system for managing your company's finances, making your business more profitable, and putting more money in your pocket. I'm your host, Maura. I've been a full-time real estate investor since 2018. I've managed over 100 flips, founded and grew a real estate investment firm, and I live and work in the real estate industry every day. We have 2 show formats on this podcast. We used to publish 2 episodes per week, but we're reducing this to 1 per week because it was a little bit much, and I'll switch off show formats every other week from now on. So, the first show format is real estate book reviews, like the one we'll do today, where I analyze the industry's leading real estate books, pick out the key points, and help you apply the key concepts to your life and business. Then, every other week, I will share some of my personal, most important lessons learned from flipping over 100 houses and being a full-time real estate investor for over 6 years. Also, we have an awesome YouTube channel where you can watch the video versions of our podcast. Just search for the Mastering Real Estate Podcast or Duratus Properties and you'll find us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an episode or any of our other content. Okay, why should you listen to this podcast? Well, there's a lot of BS out there when it comes to real estate. But there is timeless wisdom in books, like the one we're covering today. I cover a broad array of topics and help you become a well-rounded real estate professional. Finally, I want to help you take action. I always boil down key lessons and takeaways from each book into action steps that you can apply to your life and business. This week, we review David Richter's Profit First for Real Estate Investing. This book, along with Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, are in my top 3 books of all time that have helped me grow and improve my business. I'm not a finance person, so figuring out how to run my company's finances was a puzzle that I was unsure how to solve for the first couple years of my business. Then, one day, I listened to an interview with Mike Michalowicz on a podcast and felt compelled to read his book, Profit First. After finishing it, I knew I had found the answer to my quandary of how to properly manage my company's finances. Later, I found David Richter's book, which applies the concepts of Mike Michalowicz's book specifically to real estate investing businesses. I was able to gain even more clarity about how to properly implement the Profit First system into my business alongside my CFO, Aziz, Shunnara, who you'll hear from later in this episode. Real quick, before we dive in deep, I need to mention that if you're interested in applying the Profit First system to your business, but you are not a real estate investor, you're probably still in luck. There are now literally dozens of Profit First books out there for almost every type of business. They're all based on the foundational concepts in Mike Michalowicz's original book, Profit First, but dig specifically in how to apply the concepts to each industry. In the real estate space, there are currently 3 Profit First books as of this recording. They are Profit First for Real Estate Investing, which we're going to cover today, but there also is a book, Profit First for Real Estate Agents, and Profit First for contractors. So just an important note to know that if you want to find something more specific to your business, there's probably a book out there for you. Now let's learn a little bit about the author, David Richter. David Richter is a seasoned real estate investor, author, and financial advisor dedicated to revolutionizing the real estate investing industry. He began his journey at Hyles-Anderson College before delving into the real estate realm. With a background as the Chief Operating Officer at RVA Property Solutions, Richter gained valuable experience in the operational aspects of real estate ventures. Richter's expertise culminated in the publication of his book, Profit First for Real Estate Investing, which is a comprehensive guide that applies sound financial principles to the unique challenges of real estate investment. Drawing from his extensive experience, Richter has completed over 850 real estate deals, showcasing proficiency in various strategies such as wholesaling, turnkey rentals, BRRRRs, owner financing, regular rentals, and lease options, among other exit strategies. Motivated by his own journey of scaling a real estate business, Richter recognized the crucial need for financial management within the industry. This realization led him to found his company, Simple CFO Solutions, a company dedicated to providing profit advising services to real estate investors nationwide. Through Simple CFO Solutions, Richter and his team offer fractional CFO services, enabling investors to access high-level financial expertise at a fraction of the cost. Richter's mission extends beyond the financial advisory services. His ultimate goal is to transform how real estate investors perceive and manage their finances. By bringing true financial clarity and freedom to investors, he aims to elevate the industry's standards and empower individuals to achieve sustainable success in real estate investing. Here is a summary of the book. Profit First for Real Estate Investing by David Richter is a guide that applies the principles of the Profit First system to real estate investing. It applies the principles outlined in Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, to real estate investing businesses. The book offers a step-by-step approach to managing finances in real estate businesses, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing profit from the outset. Richter introduces the Profit First method, which involves allocating income into different accounts for profit, taxes, operating expenses, and more, ensuring that profit is a non-negotiable part of the financial strategy. The book provides practical advice on implementing the system, including setting up bank accounts, determining allocation percentages, and monitoring financial progress. This approach allows real estate investors to build sustainable and profitable businesses while minimizing financial stress and uncertainty. Here are the key concepts from the book. Okay, I read this book several times and I made a free downloadable PDF checklist about how to implement Profit First into your business. So you definitely want to go check that out. Go download it in the show notes. However, for now, I'm going to give a very brief overview of how to apply the Profit First principles to your business before we dive even deeper with our guest, Aziz Shunnara. To start off, most businesses follow a very simple formula to determine their profits, and that formula is sales minus expenses equals profit. The problem with this is that often our expenses eat up most of our profit and there is little left over to pay ourselves for all of our hard work as owners. The Profit First authors flip that formula to read sales minus profit equals expenses. This formula is transformational because it shifts you from thinking about your expenses first and puts you and the health of your company first. You have to take your profit first and then pay your expenses with whatever's left over. And this usually means cutting expenses. In order to fully implement this formula into your REI business, you'll need to follow these 11 steps. Step number 1, the owners need to write down their need and want numbers. Your need number is the amount of money you need to make in order to cover your monthly expenses. And your want number is how much money you want to make. And if you don't know what your want number is, a simple way to do it is you at least need to multiply your need number by 2. Step number 2 is you need to determine how many deals you need to do and at what profit point in order to pay yourself what you absolutely need. Working backwards from how much money you need to make, you're then going to determine how many deals you need to do in order to meet that profit need. Step 3 is you're going to run an instant assessment on your business This is a very simple, high-level, rough estimate of how profitable your business is. David Richter has a free, very basic spreadsheet that you can use to run the instant assessment. He also has a table that shows you how to do it in your book. And I also included this link in my free downloadable PDF in the show notes. So step 3, go ahead and fill out that instant assessment to get a high-level guesstimate of how profitable your business is right now. Next, you'll move to step 4, which is to calculate your caps and your taps. CAPS stands for your current allocation percentages, and TAPS stands for your target allocation percentages. This is basically showing you where your money is going right now with your current allocation percentages. So when revenue comes in, where is the money going into what accounts? And then your target allocation percentages are your goal numbers of what percentage of each amount of revenue that's coming in is going into what accounts with a specified purpose. And that'll become a little bit more clear when we talk about the different accounts that you're going to have to set up. So that leads us to step 5, which is to set up the foundational bank accounts. Okay. So the foundational bank accounts are number 1, the profit account, number 2, owner's compensation, number 3, the tax account, number 4, the income account, number 5, your operating expenses account, number 6, other people's money account, and number 7, reserve account. So we're clear. The foundational accounts originally outlined in Mike McCalloch's book are just the first 5. That's your profit, your owner's compensation, owner's tax, income, and operating expenses. Those are kind of the 5 foundational accounts. But then David Richter says that for real estate investing, you really also need to have a separate account for other people's money. And this can be any investment money that you're using to fund your business, whether you're raising money, probably if you have a line of credit, investment money that's needs to be used to grow the business, and then a reserve account. Okay. So step 5, set up those foundational bank accounts. Then step 6 is to set up the 5 additional recommended accounts. On top of those foundational accounts, David Richter says that for real estate investing businesses, he also recommends setting up these 5 accounts. The first one is a PITI account, and that stands for principal, interest, property taxes, and insurance. Some of us, you might be able to relate, run into a little issue at the end of the year when all of our property taxes are due. And if you have a lot of properties, that number can be pretty high. This just makes sure that you are properly saving for all of your principal, for all of your loans, your taxes, and insurance throughout the year instead of having to panic at the end of the year when these things come due. The second advised account is a repairs and maintenance account. This is especially important if you have a rental component of your business, because we all know that maintenance issues come up. So it's nice to have money consistently set aside to deal with those issues instead of having to figure it out on the fly, how we're going to pay for the various maintenance issues that come up in our business. The third recommended account is the security deposit account. Again, this really only applies if you have a rental component in your investing in business. Security deposits are separate from rental income. Those security deposits have to be paid back to your tenants when they move out. So you need to keep those separate from all your other rental revenue. So that's what the security deposit account is for. The fourth account is a bad debt account. So if your company has bad debt, like credit card debt, you can set up a separate account and you'll funnel a certain percentage into that account every month to help pay down your bad debt. And the fifth account, which is a little bit of a surprise, is a charity or giving account. I thought this was really interesting. David Richter says the most successful business owners that he knows give consistently to charity or charitable causes. And so he recommends saving and intentionally giving from this account on a regular basis. That was really interesting. Not something you hear about that often. Step 7, consider setting up one or all 3 of these advanced accounts. After we get through the foundational accounts, then the 5 other recommended accounts, he has these 3 kind of advanced or bonus accounts. Those are 1, a marketing account, 2, a payroll account, and 3, an investor's principal account. So marketing account, probably self-explanatory. If you have a marketing component of your business, you can put all your marketing dollars in there and then track all the money that's going out, which marketing channels are most effective for your business. Number 2 is a payroll account. So you probably have your regular payroll occurring twice a month. Making sure that you put the right amount of money in that account will help make sure that your employees are paid every month. And then investor's principal account. This is if you raise money or you run a syndication. If you're raising money for various investment projects, this is where you would put that money. He recommends putting it in a separate account because that money is earmarked probably for a specific project or a specific investment or a specific purpose, and you don't want to mix it with any of your other funds, and you definitely don't want to use it for something that it's not intended for, because you could get into some hot water for that. So now we've set up 1 million bank accounts. Our next step is to prioritize and cut our expenses. David Richter gives a really good system for itemizing, prioritizing, and cutting your expenses in the book. I really like his approach to doing that. Then step number 10 is to get the maximum return for your marketing dollars. So here he has another cool free resource, which is a spreadsheet on how to track all your marketing dollars and determine your ROI for all of your marketing dollars spent so that you can put your money into the most effective marketing channels. And finally, step number 11 is to create a deal dashboard. Basically, creating some sort of dashboard that tracks all of your company's projects, their profitability, their ROI, that allows you to know how much money you have in any project at any point in time. Those are the 11 steps about how to implement Profit First system into your business. I know that was fast. It probably seems overwhelming, but I promise it's actually a pretty simple system. If you just read the book and follow my checklist, I promise it's not that hard, and it will change your life and your business. Now I want to introduce Aziz Shunnara, who you may remember from episode 14, to talk more about this book. Aziz is the CFO and managing partner of Duratus Properties and Duratus Academy. He has a comprehensive background in business negotiations, finance, entrepreneurship, and management. He is also an experienced business advisor in numerous industries, including restaurants, retail, wholesale, and financial services. Before joining Duratus, Aziz was the founder and CEO of Automotive Concepts, one of the oldest and most trustworthy automotive businesses in Birmingham, Alabama from 1996 to 2021. Additionally, Aziz co-founded a property management company called Freedom Ventures Property Management in 2019 and helped grow the company to over 600 assets under management in less than 3 years. He's a leader within his church and co-founded a group called the Kingsmen, which helps men grow their faith and better serve their families and communities. When he's not working, you can find Aziz on the golf course or spending time with his beautiful family. Well, Z, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so happy to finally have you on and talk about one of your favorite subjects, real estate finance.
I'm excited to be here, Maura. I've been watching you do a lot of these and couldn't wait to jump on.
Awesome. Well, today we are talking about Profit First, which has had a big influence in our business. I'm so excited to talk about it and give the audience some really good recommendations. But first, let's start with a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about your background, where you grew up, about your family outside of real estate and finance.
Oh, outside of real estate and finance? Well, my childhood life was Pennsylvania up until college. My adult life is Alabama, so I got to be both a northern boy and then became a southern man. So it was kind of different transition there. So I grew up in the north. Now I live in the south, and it's been the best place to be. My background is definitely business, sales, and negotiations. You know that, Maura. I love business so much. And sales and negotiations is just one of my fortes, and just live it, eat it, sleep it. Everywhere I go, everything I do, it's just like practice, practice, practice. It's just fun.
Yes. Z is the master of sales and negotiations. We're going to have read another book about real estate negotiations and have you come back on and do a whole nother master class on that. Yeah, definitely.
Constantly learning and trying different things and new things. So
he teaches all of us. He teaches us a lot every day about that. Well, tell us a little bit about your family.
I have a beautiful family. I have a wonderful wife, two boys, or actually men now, 20 and 21. My family is my life. And I have a great extended family who I admire so much and I'm very, very grateful for. I didn't just marry my wife, I married an entire family, which couldn't ask for a better blessing. And then, of course, my mother, who's around, my father who passed, you got to meet him, good man. They taught me to be independent and make things happen. They always believed in me, and I try to instill that in my family now and my boys today. So
awesome. Well, how the heck did you get into real estate? Because as I mentioned in your introduction, you've been in business for over 30 years. You've done a lot of different things. So tell us a little bit, for those who don't know, how you got into real estate and real estate investing.
It's a funny story. I've had a retail stores for many years. I've been dabbing in different type of investments, different types of businesses, and more on the retail end, the sales end, buying, selling, wholesaling, everything that has to do with retail pretty much. But having those retail stores had me meet tons and tons of people. And of those people, I met a lot of contractors. And those contractors who I became really good friends with kind of needed help and knew to talk to me, or I talked to them about financing and talking about different things and financing. So that led on to me checking out their finances, maybe investing into their company when they had lots of projects going on, but they couldn't back them up. So I backed up their jobs or their deals, managed their money and their finances right, and fell in love with that. And then that led into other contractors who in turn led into me meeting you. Then, hey, why don't you buy one house, or why don't you buy this? So I was in the business quite some time. I knew I was going to get out of the retail world at some time. And then I met you and it opened up the door to the real estate world.
How has it kind of changed your life, going from being in retail to being in real estate investing?
Freedom, I should say. It opened up not the everyday 9 to 5 going in, unlocking, locking, making sure the doors, the lights, everything's on. It's completely different. Checking out investments, doing a little different investments deal here and there. I had a consulting company and I do a lot of that with consulting. So it gave me a lot of the insides of investing and where to invest. And a lot of people taught me different things. And I have a lot of mentors in my life who I bring that to the table first before I make a good decision. I've utilized that probably my whole life, and I still use it to this day on any decision that I make.
And just so you guys, the listeners know, Z still does tons of consulting. What he did for years of helping people and contractors manage their finances, he still does that now on a little bit bigger scale. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, hey, I could use some advice or consulting, I will put a link down below in the show notes if you want to reach out to Z, get some advice, whether it's on managing your finances, your overall business strategy, sales negotiations, anything like that. We'll make sure to put a little link in the show notes because that's still something that Z does all the time.
Fun, and I love to do it.
Okay, so last question before we get into the book. Tell me a little bit about Duratus Properties, because believe it or not, I kind of mentioned Duratus, but I haven't on the podcast really explained in depth what we do here at Duratus Properties.
Well, Duratus to me, Maura, is you. I mean, it's Maura McGraw. It's when we met, I was in the construction field. I got to manage their money, manage their projects, and you came into the picture and you opened up the real estate door, and there was a lot more to doing things. And I think at first, you and I started out was just maybe the finance guy, or just maybe try to find some money places here and there and try to find different deals and how to finance. And then just your inspiration and a lot of things that we do in the real estate world open up the doors to rentals, open up the door to fix and flips, opens up the doors to all different types of possibilities. And that excited me a lot, more than just financing a project and stuff like that. So I wanted more and more of that. And you kind of opened up the door and say, hey, look, there's a whole nother world out here. Why don't you come join us? And I did. I think, matter of fact, I shut the doors, actually sold my company, sold my retail retail stores, and I was ready to walk and start a whole new chapter. And Duratus Properties is not just about, I mean, we do everything. I remember the word pillars. There's so many different pillars that we have in our company, so many opportunities: fix and flip division, rental division, turnkey operations, owner finance deals, many different things that we are learning and growing till this day.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this book, Profit First for Real Estate Investing. Let's start out with, what are some of the things that you like about this book?
Well, actually, this book is like me when I was younger. This book brings back a lot of old school things that I've learned when I was younger, as the envelope system that he brings out in this book. I mean, I did that. I did those things. When I was told that I couldn't afford something, I made sales or trades or whatever I had to do to make something happen. And I would hide money and put money away and label it like this would be for a future or something. Made it work. And this whole thing brought it to business world, corporate world, small world, personal. So it's a shift in perspective is what I'm thinking about your profit. I mean, think about that. Like when you build a business, I fell in this 100% fell victim to running my business and having the business control me. And if there's any profit, then I'll deal with it, grow it, build it, do what I have to do to make this happen. Worry about my expenses, worry about, all the costs that's involved, the employees, worry about all that. Never really basing it off the profit first. Never thought about it. And with this right here, it's like you take that portion out, you put it to the side, and then you focus your business based off of what you have left, and you build that around that. And that to me was like just mind-boggling. I love that. So it encouraged to prioritize profit first, and it's challenging to think to do that, because I know you fell victim to it. I fell victim to do that first, and it's just a great way to run a business and start a business.
I totally agree. And I think both of us and I think a lot of people fall into this same pitfall. And it's like our hearts are in the right place, and they were in the right place of putting everybody and everything else ahead of ourselves and ahead of taking profit from our business. So I think our hearts were in the right place, but it's very refreshing to realize, okay, that's not a smart way to run the business. The whole point of the business is to be profitable. And the owners who are taking all this risk and doing all this work, you need to have a financial reward for all your hard work. And this book gives you a system that's relatively simple. Just like you said, it's kind of like the envelope system on a little bit
mass scale,
bigger scale to run your business. I think it's been so helpful for us. We're going to talk about some of the challenges we've had with implementing it, but overall, the mindset shift that it caused, I think, is really, really positive, and probably something that vast majority of business owners would benefit from.
No question.
Well, that leads into what things do you not like about the book? And then we can talk about maybe some of the challenges we've had with implementing the concepts.
I wish there was more real issues, or how to approach the issues before you start. Like, say you start in business already in debt, or you already have a lot of credit card debt, or you have a lot of these things, how to give you different scenarios in the beginning. Like, if you have all this stuff here now, let's have all these different scenarios, how to work the profit first system in while you're here versus the beginning of it. I wish there was more ideas in different type of businesses, not just, there's a lot of examples in here, and there's a lot of good things in here that they write about certain people that have these little problems come up, but there's a lot more out there, and I wish there was more of that.
That's exactly what I think too. I think overall the basic concept is great. In a way, it's a positive thing because you don't want a book to get so in the weeds and overcomplicate it. But I know that one of the things we've struggled with in our business is how to incorporate properly using lines of credit with the Profit First system. So overall, like a few years ago, we read Profit First and we set up all the accounts and we did the basics. We even had one of the Profit First consultants come in and help us get going. But then our business grew, which is a good thing. And more and more banks wanted to lend to us, which overall is a good thing. And over time, we've grown a bigger and bigger line of credit and revolving line of credit, which is great because a big part of our company is fix and flips. And you constantly need cash available to purchase properties to flip. Overall, all these things are good, but how to properly handle the line of credit along with foundational accounts and the other accounts, that has definitely been a challenge for us. Maybe I need to write like a blog post or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say I'm not gonna lie. It's something we're still trying to figure out. Like, how do we make this system really, really work for us? It's honestly, it's kind of something we're still dealing with. We've gotten better and better. And I know it's something that we are in the process of trying to actively improve right now.
Right.
I agree. I think it's just some of those more complex individual issues that sometimes don't fit perfectly in the system. And you have a team like ours, we're on board, like we get it. Everybody's on board. We're trying to do this exactly how we're supposed to, but we just have this this aspect that's kind of making it not work exactly how it's supposed to. I think.
And it's different for a lot of people. You know, one might be with more of a credit card. Like, how do you function your credit card debt with it? It's the same, because it's basically like a revolving line of credit. The only difference between a revolving line of credit, like it says in the book, is that, you know, credit, like they can close the revolving line at any time. So how do you deal with that debt? So there's a lot of things there back and forth. So
Yeah, I agree. So overall, great concept. It's just some of these individual situations that I think that are obviously address every single situation. And
no, you can't. It'd be a long book.
Yeah.
It'd be a long book.
Yes, exactly. How have you applied the concepts from this book to your business?
From the beginning, separating the bank accounts and being disciplined there. So the financial discipline comes right off the top. When we set up those accounts and the banks look at you and the accountants look at you, they're like, what are you doing? How come every entity that you have has so many of these accounts? Are you like, how can you keep up with all this? Matter of fact, it's not that bad. It's very easy. It's very, very simple. And it gives you a better picture of the financial picture is a lot clearer to us in each account and where everything is allocated. So if you noticed it, once we do that and once each account is allocated its proper funds, it has made every company that we have or every pillar that we deal with look better, or shows the health of that company much better. So that's how we applied it.
Yeah, we've been doing the basic system for a few years now. We definitely did run into what he talks about, or what he kind of warns against in the book, that you might some pushback from your finance team about this. You know, we definitely got some initial pushback from our accountant at the time. This was a few years ago, and we had a different bookkeeper at that time. We definitely got some pushback at the time, but we forced the issue and we overcame it. It's like, I guess maybe it's one of those things that it might seem harder to implement than it really is. And it might seem really complex to have all the bank accounts, but it's really not.
It really isn't at all.
Yeah, I think overall it's helped us. And it's just helpful when you're starting a business to all be on the same page and have a framework for how to manage your finances. I mean, we were lucky to have Yuzi, who had a lot of experience and a background in this, but a lot of people don't have that. They don't have someone who's coming in with 30 years of experience. I think this could be a really good starting point for a lot of people. As you're trying to figure out everything there is to figure out in a startup, this provides you with a blueprint of how to manage your cash and manage your finances, which is so important.
Right.
And even if I would say, like, even if you're not like a finance person or a numbers person, which I would say that has been said about me before, a
couple of times.
But this book, it's not so hard. It breaks down managing your cash and managing your finance it's
a very easy read.
Yeah, into an approachable and relatively easy to adopt system that's effective. Like, yes, you are going to have, as things grow and progress, you might have a few challenges and that things don't always fit perfectly in the system, but that's okay.
Right. We ran into that a couple of times, but we learned from those little mistakes and learned how to clear them up. Sometimes we used one out of the wrong account because we weren't used to it.
Yep.
And then we had to go back and fix it. Or sometimes we had to tell the accountant, well, wait a minute, that came from this account. It should have came from this. Sometimes it gets a little messy, but you learn it over the time, over the years. I don't expect you to just get it perfect right away, but the concepts becomes a lot clearer, and your accountant and your bankers will see the picture. Eventually, your bankers will see the picture. They'll know why. They'll get it. Look at our bankers now. When I open up another business or we do another business, they know what's going to come up. They know how to handle it. They know now what do we do? We make phone calls to them. They know where to move it for us. They get to learn. Some of them implement it themselves in their personal lives, which
Exactly.
I stress that.
Yes, I think that's a great point. I know that a lot of the people that you consult with, like, this is not only a system for your business finances, but it can also be adopted for your personal financial management too.
Yeah, it's the envelope system in life. I mean, it's the envelope really with bank accounts. Sometimes you can use money market accounts as your envelope that's earning interest as it sits. So there's a lot of different things there that you can use. And I think my own family and friends, they have actually got out a lot of debt, taking their profit first, or whatever, whether it's a car or whatever they want to buy. They have to figure out their percentages of how to allocate their expenses and put the money that they want right away and then work with what they got. Gives you a lot of discipline. You have to have discipline in it. And once you take that money out and profit and put it off to the side, then you have to work with that, and then you're really focusing on what you have at that time. It's really good. So I definitely recommend this for new businesses, people revamping their companies, restructuring. Who else I want them to read the book? I never thought about it. Accountants are always one-track mind. A ton of accountants. One-track mind, you don't know what you're talking about, this and that. And just read the book. This is how we're going to do it. Read it and apply it yourself. It works. There's no question that it works. So even accountants, friends, family, everybody in your personal life. I applied it to my personal life and it works really well. Now, maybe my wife and my kids spend more on the credit cards, but sometimes they go overboard. It's still manageable. Everything's still manageable and everything's still good.
Yes, I totally agree. New businesses, even businesses that are just trying to get their finances on track. And yes, your whole finance team, your accountants, they would all benefit so much from reading this book.
Our finance team got the book and they love it and they understand it. It's very easy to understand. It's not that difficult of a concept, which is mind-blowing. It's just something like, okay. Where it becomes really difficult is really structuring different percentages and finding different percentages and stuff like that.
If you had to rate this book on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I have between a 7 and an 8, only because I want more of the realities. And, a lot of books, a lot of movies make things sound a lot easy. Like the concept is very easy, but if you're going in and you already going in with major debt, if you're going in as a new business, yes, this is no problem. You can start from scratch, easy. But if you're going in and you have this debt or this credit card or lines of credits, or you're not really sure how to restructure, like going in and restructuring, changing that mind, I'd like to have more of the reality of that. But that's probably talking to people. Really might not be the book itself. It might be people that read the book that implemented that you can share with them. So maybe finding contacts or people that actually applied it in different worst case scenarios and made it work. I would love to talk to those people and see how they made those things work and see if it matches the things that we've done.
Totally agree. Are there any other good books or resources that you've come across in all your years of experience that you would recommend to the audience when it comes to financial management?
There's a lot of books out there. I'm not really a jump into the financial world. I'd like to deal with real life experience people. So a lot of the mentors in my life, there's a lot of people in the Birmingham area, outside the Birmingham area, that I have the access to, and listening to them, they're big mentors in my life. So they have the experience. So I listen to them a lot before I just read into something. So I listen to them first, but there are books. There's one in particular that I want to read. It's called Behavioral Investing, and it's How Not to Be Your Own Worst Enemy. And that could be from having too much credit out there and you want a thing, or as an entrepreneur myself, I want to just invest in everybody that walks in the door, listen to their ideas. The ideas are unbelievable, just to be more disciplined in that area. And so I think that would be a great book to read.
Awesome. like I mentioned earlier in the episode, I'm going to recommend like what Z does when he consults with people. He goes into your situation, looks at your specific situation, everything that's going on, and helps you find a solution. So definitely check out his consulting page. I'm going to link it in the show notes. And if you need someone to come in and help you maybe learn how to apply the profit first principles and work with your specific situation, Z is awesome person to do that.
Thank you, Maura.
So
Sorry.
no, I would say if someone came to me, I mean, I love the profit first system, and I think I could help people with the basics, but this is what you do all the time. And if someone came to me,
hard.
I would point them to you.
Yeah, this book, really relates to me a lot. And it's really interesting, and I'd love to share it or help any way I can.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I know that you sharing your experience is going to help a lot of people just from them being able to hear your perspective and your story. I know that it is going to help a lot of people in addition to all the people that you help on a regular basis. So thank you so much for coming on, and we can't wait to have you back for a book on real estate negotiations.
That's going to be fun.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. There were only a few things that we didn't love about the book. First, and very understandably, it doesn't touch on every issue when it comes to managing company finances, and it's not going to solve all your financial problems. For example, it doesn't really discuss lines of credit and how to make those work with the profit first system, which if you are a professional flipper like us, you probably do have a line of credit, so that would have been a nice thing to include. And I think we both agree that we would have liked to see even more examples and scenarios, although the author does give several in the book. Even providing a few more might have helped answer some common questions multiple real estate investors would have. Here are 2 lessons that we can take away from the book and apply to our businesses. Number 1, run a profit first instant assessment on your business to see where things stand with regard to profit. I include a link to a simple assessment in my downloadable PDF in the show notes, and David Richter also has one that you can access on his website for free at simplecfosolutions.com. This is not hard, and it only takes a few minutes, and it will at least give you a rough baseline of how your company is doing. The second lesson to implement is to fully implement the profit first system into your business if you're looking for a better way to manage your cash and finances. It's really not that difficult or complicated. And I even created a simple checklist to help you that you can follow so that you and your financial team can seamlessly implement this system. I promise this will change your life and your business, so do it. Who should read this book? All business owners and finance professionals should read a profit first book for their respective businesses. This isn't the only way to manage your finances, but it's a damn good way. So you should know about it. Overall, we rated this book an 8 out of 10. Overall, this book is great and it's a must read for business owners. It's transformational for your business. It's simple, easy to read and understand, and very actionable. Now let's take a quick minute to thank our show sponsor, Duratus Academy, one of mine and Aziz's companies. So, after you get your real estate finances sorted out using the profit first system, you may want to overhaul your entire business in order to scale faster and more efficiently. This is where Duratus Academy can help you. In our online academy, you'll find lots of free resources for real estate investors, as well as our masterclass, which will walk you through step by step how to set up and scale your real estate investing business. Had I followed this roadmap when I started out, I would have saved a minimum of $50,000 and shaved at least 3 years off the amount of time it took me to get where I am now. So don't miss out. Go check out DuratusAcademy.com and sign up for our masterclass. This concludes today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you come back next week for one of my personal lessons learned in a true moment of crisis in the business when my original business partner left and I thought that my business might go up in flames. This was a pivotal and difficult time, but very important turning point in the business. You won't want to miss next week's episode. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast and leave us a rating and review. We are a new and growing podcast, so every rating, review, and share helps immensely. Also, make sure that you're following us on YouTube and social media. You'll get a lot more behind the scenes and content there daily. See you in the next one.